Hello. We're going to talk a little bit about the sonnet form of poetry. And the sonnet form, which was believed to have been conceived in around the year 1200 by poet Giacomo da Lentino, and the word sonnet comes from the Italian word sonetto, which means little song. And sonetto comes from the Latin sonus, which means a sound. And the thing about the sonnet is, well, there are many rhyme scheme examples to a sonnet, there are many forms of the sonnet, but the main idea to think about for a sonnet is that it's 14 lines. And that's very important. 14 lines, and what it is it carries one thought explored for 14 lines. It really doesn't go into other subjects, it sticks to that one thought for 14 lines. And it's interesting because it seems to fit with the idea of thinking. When you think about something, you tend to think of it in 14 lines if you really studied it out and thought about it. So 14 lines with a turn of thought at the end, as all poems do, which kind of wraps up the idea. Now, Shakespeare, of course, is very famous for his sonnets. And he was 1564 to 1616, not that the dates matter, but it's fun to put on there. And this is a portrait of Shakespeare, and under it is the quote, and this quote is not from the Sonnets, it's from The Tempest, but it's a beautiful quote and worth thinking about. "We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with sleep." I'm going to recite to you two Shakespeare sonnets, and these have a certain rhyme scheme, but they're so beautifully written that you don't even notice the rhyme scheme. And that's the thing about rhyming. Rhyming is fine, but if it's obvious and you hear it, it can sound cliche. It sounds like, oh, I've heard that rhyme before, I won't listen anymore. But Shakespeare has a way of making them fresh. However, consider this. In the modern sonnet, they don't have to rhyme. I realize this is revolutionary, but as long as it carries a thought through, and usually it's about love, but not always. Generally it's about love. For instance, this sonnet by Shakespeare, well, I'll just recite it, what I can remember of it. "Who will believe my verse in time to come, if it were filled with your most high deserts? Though yet heaven knows it is but as a tomb, which hides your life and shows not half your parts. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh numbers number all your graces, the age to come would say this poet lies, such heavenly faces ne'er touched earthly places. But were some child alive that time, he would live twice, in it and in my rhyme." Well, the poet is saying, my verses can't compare to your beauty. And your beauty won't live except you have a baby. Then your beauty will continue on through that. Basically, it's what it's saying. Here's another one. And this is talking about a painter. So sometimes there's an extended metaphor through here. "Mine eye hath played the painter and has steeled thy beauty's form and table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective it is best painter's art. For through the painter must you see his skill, to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that has his picture glazed with thine eyes. Now eyes this cunning want to grace their art, they draw but what they see, know not the heart." So here is another one saying how a painting won't even show your beauty, because a painting cannot reveal the heart. Painting is about perspective, but it may not be about what's going on inside. So those are two Shakespearean sonnets, 14 lines, following one theme. And now I will read a more modern sonnet. And as you can see, very often a sonnet is about love, but it's also to someone or about someone. And This is a sonnet to Dusa, who was a very famous Italian actress. What is it about Eleonora Dusa? I look at her photograph and read books about her and then give the books away and do not want them again. And there can be no play about her because she has to be in my troubled thoughts. And one cannot act a sunbeam deep in the woods or a moonbeam on a quiet road. Eleonora Dusa is the actor's patron saint in her humanness. And besides, it is the image and idea and eyes and lips of her that means anything in the end. So the sonnet has that little conclusion. They really come to a conclusion where a haiku, not that we're comparing sonnets and haiku, but haiku don't have really metaphors. They're usually the thing itself, and you let yourself figure out the metaphor. And they don't have a turn of thought, of course, it's just an image. Whereas a sonnet will have several images, and then that turn of thought, which kind of sums it up. And those are my thoughts on sonnets. Thank you.